because I'm like, well, just as long as I get there safe, like I really don't care. Like,
well, that's what submission is. That's what submission is that you.
Down that I think everybody is at some point deserving to receive love and to be even into marriage if they do aspire for marriage.
I believe that society shapes how we view things and how we look at things in our life.
Make your own bed. That's basically what Kevin Samuels is saying. His delivery is what people kind of throws people off. But basically,
aggressive or like violent, like where I think toxic masculinity is
no offense to men, that they also get this idea that, you know, women are just going to take care of them and everything is going to be like easy.
A domestic violence shelter, and he brought her up to be, you know, a $25,000.
Hell yeah, you need to judge in dating. It is what it is. You know, you can't not judge people just because you feel bad about it. Like, you need to know.
As much as I love my daughter, there are some harsh realities and some things that her mother and I teach her in order to help her to understand. And
like, I'm sure everyone knows a woman that, you know, had sex all the
What is going on, people? Welcome back to CKQ Podcast. I'm your host, Clement. And before I introduce the panelists, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe to this button for more content like this. We go live Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern every week. But now we will introduce the panelists. We got Queen Candy.
Hey. What's going on?
Give a hello, give a little intro.
Hello, everyone. We are the Queen Candy Podcast. We talk about all genre of topics on our show, but we definitely teach about Muslim and the Islam community. Y'all make sure y'all follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook under the Queen Candy Podcast. You can also catch our show, the Queen Candy Podcast, on Anchor, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and any app that you can listen to a podcast on.
They are everywhere, people. We got Chris.
Hi, everyone. I hope that you're doing well. Welcome back to CBP Podcast. My name is Chris. I do have a channel called The Blooming Ebony. I haven't been on there in a while, but I just got my other laptop running, so hopefully I can edit soon and my blog will finally be out. And also my blog is currently under construction and will be ready for you guys soon as well. So I hope you enjoy the show.
And last but not least, we got the doctor.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My former channel, Black Wall Street Trading, I've had to put a pause on that since school started back, and I am trying to get together my research ideas so that I can publish my dissertation. But you can find me here on the CKQ Podcast every Tuesday. You can reach out to me for any psychological questions, behavioral questions. On Instagram at behavioral_therapist. Yeah. I don't never go on Instagram, so if you want to reach out to me, you better leave a comment in the chat. But it's behavior_consultant on IG. I'm rarely on Instagram at all. That's how bad I've been tied down in school. I don't hardly ever check it. So just find me here on Tuesdays.
Yeah, where you just start up. So, guys, topic today, CRT. It's a big buzzword that's going around everywhere. And it's pretty controversial. There's some people that are for it, some people that are against it, and a good chunk of people have no idea what the hell it is. So, real quick, what do you guys know about CRT?
Honestly, nothing.
It's necessary.
John, you think it's necessary?
Yeah, I mean, all it is provides a theoretical framework for you to for you to discuss the racial disparities and how it affected and shaped the laws that are centered around that have become come to be in the United States. That is the short and sweet and to the point version of it, right? Like I'm not doing a very deep dive down into and breaking apart the theory and trying to analyze it, but it's pretty straightforward. And it's something that you talk about all the time, and blacks talk about it all the time and don't realize that what they're doing is describing the very tenets of this theory. However, I understand why it's relegated to be taught only in certain universities and law school and not taught in K-12, because I think it needs to be taught in K through 12. I mean, I've indirectly alluded to the critical race theory once before on your show when I said that young black boys are in a trap and they don't even realize they're in a trap and they don't understand how to move, and that black men need to come back onto the scene and police these young boys up and teach them how to move, because you have to have two faces, the face that you show them and the face that you show us. And I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. There is a them and there is a us. Yep. I told you, I'm not about inclusivity, and I'll get on that further on down the road.
Chris.
Yeah.
I've learned that a lot of people that talk about it have not seen an active CRT curriculum like in place in a school as we speak. I don't really think people truly know what it is. Like I don't think people truly know what's actually being taught to the children. I think everyone has an idea of the theory and ideally what it should be, but I don't think people actually know what's being taught to the children. I think it's way too subjective. And I don't think that our school system should be dependent on what's going on in the world politically. Like for me, if it's up for political debate, I think it should be left out of the schools and just stick to things that are concrete, math, science. And if there are certain things in history that whoever thinks is too sensitive, I think it's perfectly fine to say the parents can handle it. I think that's how it should be anyways. I think if they think it's too sensitive to be taught in the schools, let the parents handle it. So yeah, I personally, from what I don't know about CRT, I would prefer for it to be left out of schools, just for the lack of clarity.
Yeah, I definitely fall on side with Chris. I think it should be left out of schools. I think it's definitely falls to more parents to teach it. But just for a quick clarification on something that I found, Vodi Bachman, who's a pastor. He's been and kind of a political figure. He's been hated by both sides at some point in time. So his definition was CRT teaches that people are either oppressor or oppressed, good or bad. It then claims that the only way to stop racism is to tear down existing institutions and overflow and replace our constitutional form of government.
Who said that?
Vodi Bachman.
He going somewhere with that.
Yeah? What do you mean?
Well, you just said to tear down the existing government and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because just like Chris was saying, leave that stuff out of schools. These kids really ain't learning nothing. And what they are being taught in these schools is 100% false.
Yeah.
So all of our kids being led down the wrong direction.
I mean, I think that what they should be learning in school is practical skills that can actually get them a job, get them a trade, or that's what should be being taught in schools. And I think the idea that we are going to create a curriculum specifically around race, critical race theory, I think it's bad, me personally, because it singles out specifically Black kids, Black people, people of color, but we all know they're talking Black. And it's whether they are doing good or doing bad, it throws them under the umbrella that, hey, listen, you've been oppressed at some point. The grades that you have, they either give it to you through sympathy or they've been oppressing you, which is why you're not able to pass. Right. And at least me personally, that's how I see it. But John, you scrunched your face a couple times, so talk.
Yeah, I did. Raise your hand if you know when we were first awarded the privilege to vote. Raise your hand if you know what was the qualifications that you had to be able to vote. What was the qualifications? What did you have to do?
Own property.
What else?
Be white. You can have one drop.
No. There was one particular thing that I'm looking for. You're not
All
wrong.
I know is own property.
Pass a test of literacy. Now, yeah, you had to be able to read and answer and pass a test that even some white scholars couldn't pass. Okay. But whites did not have to pass a test, only if you were Black. Because if you were illiterate, you had no business voting and casting your vote. Okay. Now, let me ask you something. Raise your hand if you know how you get into a college.
A test.
And how do you get into medical school?
A test.
Anywhere.
A test. Now, who do you think, what group indirectly do you think is being targeted?
Black?
Yes.
Americans, yeah.
There you go. And you say, well, John, that's not true. You all have a right to education.
No.
How many Black teachers do you know? Really?
Off the top of my head, one.
Right.
One.
On any school, you're going to see that a majority of the teachers don't look like the people on this panel.
Nope.
Unless you live in a certain community where you got this special school in it, and they always be special. They rowdy as hell. Oh, my bad. Alternative schools. They will be there. They will be there. Now, I said that to say this. Plessy versus Ferguson, we all know what that was about, right? Separate, but equal.
But equal, yeah.
But the powers that be, the government, did not play by the right rules. You had 8th graders reading on a fucking 4th grade level. You had 12th graders reading on a fucking 8th grade level. So how could you pass the test to get into medical school? And eventually, Howard University, formerly known as Freedmen's College for freedmen, Howard is the oldest HBCU. We all know that. It was originally Freedmen's. They eventually had to get on board for funding. So eventually you had to take a test because Howard wanted to be like Harvard. The whole Black face that you know and the Black Americans that you know have been modeled by the white person that they want you to be like.
So I do understand that, and I'm not going to deny that things like that did happen. But in this present day, what can be done about it?
You have to teach these young boys how to move around it. You have to let them know that, look, nigga, this is what's happened to you all throughout history.
Okay.
So sit your Black ass down and learn and shut the fuck up. And stop talking about your Jordans fighting so much and shut the fuck up.
And what I'm saying is, how can we leave it to the schools that have not taught us anything, that haven't really taught the right material, that same schools that you're saying, okay, if Black Americans went there, they weren't funding the schools enough. So separate but equal, but we're not going to fund this school enough to actually teach them the right things. We're going to do anything to disenfranchise them, Why are we now trying to teach it in schools? Why not just, okay, parents take a little bit more initiative and teach them at
parents
home?
don't fucking know.
The parents don't know. Wait, hold on. The parents don't know that they've been disenfranchised.
The parents don't know how to move.
Oh, they don't have no knowledge.
They don't know how to move is what I'm saying. Like, there's a very specific way that only a few blacks know how. Chris knows how to do it. You know how to do it. I know how to do it. I bet Queen Candy know how to do it. I can teach this to somebody that's willing to listen. My boys know how to do it. You'll see them talk to me and joke with me one way, but you let the right motherfucker come up and start talking. Them bitches hit that whole different tone. You might hear one of them say something about some fucking ubiquitous melancholy. You don't know. You never know. The whole vernacular changes in front of the right people. They know how to interview. We've talked about this, and we talked about the importance of this, because you will not get the same. I don't care what nobody. You will not get a for real fair shake. Talk to some black medical students.
So I do
on the abuse that they go through in medical. So they don't want their black ass in there.
And what I'm saying is, I understand that blacks are the most disenfranchised race. I'm not gonna play dumb and say that, you know, there aren't things placed against specifically Black Americans. I won't even just say blacks. It's specifically Black Americans, because every other race of black can come here and they could thrive. And they say, oh well, you know, Black Americans aren't just utilizing it. And it's like, no, it's kind of systemic. True, but how can there's Danielle. Hey, Danielle. Damn, I lost my train of thought. Okay, John, you can go back. I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, come on, and you lose your whole train of thought.
I lost my whole train of thought.
Your last point was that you can't deny that black people are the most disenfranchised race. You can say when other black people come to America, they thrive.
Yes, they thrive. But what was John saying? Because there was a specific point that I was trying to drive.
If you use other blacks coming to America, you're gonna make my point for me here in just a minute. You know why they thrive?
Who's agreeing with you on that?
They already know.
They know how. They know the system.
They know how to move.
They know how to maneuver the system.
No, but they know how to move around whites. They know what they're looking for. Perfect example. Name me one Nigerian that's walking around here with a fucked up job.
Okay, name one.
The motherfuckers come over here. They doctors. They own great gas stations. They get their shit together and they open businesses.
Yep.
They not walking around here asking you for shit. They completely eliminate the need for white help. They completely eliminate that
by sticking
and they come
with their
over
family.
here educated.
But they stick with their family though. It's a family.
But
base.
they come over here educated.
They come over here educated, true,
and
but
they
they
come over
stick
here
within
with
their family. Okay, Mexicans are the perfect example. They don't come here that educated compared to us, but they stick together as a family and they work hard.
But how does that work?
So I would say that what's taught to Black Americans was how not to work with each other, how to fight against each other. So,
but if you had a foundation, right?
Okay.
That taught you the importance of sticking together.
Mm-hmm.
Because think about it, with the current curriculum, this topic will never come up.
No, it's not.
Right. Exactly. Why do you think they don't want it in the fucking schools? Because they don't want nothing to change. They want.
But why is that on the schools to teach? I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't see. This is where I get confused. It's like, at what point is it not the white people and it's just a lack of discipline? At what point is it not the white people? It's just the fact that Black people just won't stay married. You know, they'll have a baby by somebody and be like, oh, we just grew apart. And they split up and now this child is in the worst position that they could have been in if the parents had just gotten married and stuck together and combined expenses and their incomes or whatever. Like, at what point is there a stop and saying, okay, yes, we understand that all this history exists, but at some point, one of us could have made a better decision and giving our kids a better start in life. Like, why is it always, well, these people know how to move around white people? How is it maybe that they follow structure, they have discipline in their country? No one gets divorced, like, ever. It's not allowed. They tell their kids what they're going to do, what they're going to study. I'm going to send you to school, I'm paying for it, but you better finish. Like, at what point is it the lack of discipline and we can just leave white people out of it and just move forward?
Oh, I got an answer for that. You have to look at the main big picture. You have to, during this discussion, we can't look at anything black and white. We're going to have to look and use our abstract part of our mind and just really think about some situations. Who do you think was being targeted when they took prayer out of schools?
We were.
Yeah. And who do you think was being targeted when they started raising laws for that you can no longer spank your child? Okay. Now, when there's a pyramid of needs, Maslow, right?
Maslow,
you have to first solve the very basic fucking part of the pyramid to ever move up any kind of way to reach self-actualization. The very basic: food, water, shelter, blah, 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 right? When you go to prison, you cannot have food stamps when you come out. You cannot be in public housing when you come out. You can't. You have to apply for your right to vote back. Now you say, well, what that's got to do with this? What that got to do with this? It helps with the tenets of the critical race theory because it's a part of that system. There's no secret that blacks are incarcerated at a rate of 7-1 and when comparison to white males, with longer sentences than fucking for the same crime. For the same crime. FICE 2018 cite that a white employer will hire a fucking white felon over a black with no record.
So
3-1 times.
And to me, so the component of critical race theory or racism that I would say fit into that is the fact that they taught black people not to work together, because Asians hire Asians, Russians will hire Russians, Indians hire Indians. We're the only race that decides to not hire our own race.
We don't have nothing to hire them with.
What?
How many black businesses you know they can hire somebody?
How many of them would actually work for someone else?
No, I mean, but how many black businesses are out there that can actually hire someone? Think back. Think back. The black, think for the generation where Black Wall Street evolved from.
Okay.
They fucking knew how to move around white people.
Okay.
How do you think
they stuck together? They stuck. Black Wall Street is them sticking together.
Yes. There you go. Because they knew, they lived it. They knew that there was a system in place. They were aware. These young black boys now are not aware of a system. They're conflicted because on one hand, you say there's no system. You just need to do this and get it, tie your bootstraps up, you lazy fuck. And then the other hand, dude, there is a system. There is a system, but you have to know how to move in the system. And they don't know who to believe. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. If you look at those, why in the fuck was there doctors? Why in the fuck were there? Because back then, one, you had segregated schools. You had a black teacher who looked like you, who didn't want your black ass to fail, and she would stay and do whatever it took for Johnny to read. When you got integrated, not only did they not want you there, you know how many kids probably flunked and repeated grades and it was unjust? We don't know. We'll never fucking know. But I can assume a good majority. Do you know how many dreams was killed? Well, those fucking kids had kids. And when they kids, they tried to push school on them real hard and heavy. And then that shit is like a generational curse. It just goes down and down. And eventually you start to believe that you can't be shit. That you would not, the odds are stacked against you to the point to where you cannot succeed at shit. That's a real thought. That can really happen.
So the generational curse is that like the mindset of I can't achieve. That would probably, I would say that that's the worst thing that's been passed down, is that generational curse of I cannot achieve. Because yes, listen, our ancestors had the laws and physical harm stacked against them.
Yep.
So now we just have the laws against us. If anything, some places are more looking for more black people because there's more inclusive, especially black women.
Mainly black women. They ain't looking for the men.
Oh.
I don't know.
They ain't looking for the men. Listen at the narrative, man. Who do you think they targeting when they talk about toxic masculinity, man? They ain't talking about, they talking about us. They talking about black men. And if that becomes a negative narrative, anyone who raises their voice or shows any fucking type of aggression, oh, he's toxic. He's toxic. Stay away. Stay away. They looking for a do boy, a fuck dude, a nigga who just let anybody talk to him any kind of way and step on them all kinds of ways, and a yesser man. A yesser boss. Hey, yesser boss. I'm just grateful to be here, boss. Yesser. That's a non-toxic man. But a nigga who gonna stand up and tell you, no, I deserve this and this, well, you can always leave. You don't have to work here.
And so then if there were more families, because that is going to be my big thing here, it's not that critical race theory should be taught in schools. It's the same thing you're doing with your boys right now.
Yeah.
Who do they trust more than anyone outside of the house? They just trust each other. They trust you and who else? Each other. That's it.
Each other. That's it.
That's it.
But that's where I read.
And what I'm saying is that's what should be happening more. Black Wall Street happened because that was what was taught more. It wasn't that, hey, we need to know how to move around the whites. If anything, knowing that I can trust these people knows that, okay, I have to move cautiously around these people. That's just, it's inherent. You just know it. Like, okay, I can trust these people. I can't trust these people. I can drink a little around them, but I'm not really gonna get too crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like it automatically clicks when you know who you can trust. But at this point in time, no American blacks just have no idea who they can trust. So they're kind of looking for anyone and expecting the government. They think they can trust the government out of all people. Like, okay.
Nah,
but
I mean, you can't trump them. But
hold on. You and I have been we keep going back and forth. Someone else, Danielle, talk to me. Hello.
Hey.
Talk to me. What are you thinking? Should schools teach CRT, critical race theory?
So I was trying to find out like what it was.
Okay.
And I think it would be helpful. You know, I think they say to fix a problem, you have to first admit that there is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's what CRT does, is point out the things that are invisible,
mm-hmm.
but that are happening.
Okay.
Because racism isn't always in your face. And right now it's mostly not in your face. And so that's how come they can say it's not a system, because it's not in your face. And then what they're doing behind our backs, even though all of us are experiencing it, all of us experience it different ways and interpret it different ways and handle it different ways. And we have been taught to not work together or trust each other. So even when we speak up, even if it happened to you, you don't want to say nothing. You don't want to agree. Because when we band together, it's a problem. If you at work and 2 or 3 y'all congregate, your supervisor gonna stop and check on what y'all doing. Have you ever worked somewhere with multiple black people and stopped and talked? If it's a predominantly white place, y'all can't congregate in the hallway. That's suspicious. They gonna come by and see what you're talking about. So I think it's important so that white people can be aware of what has happened, what has been done and continues to be done, so that they can stop saying that racism doesn't exist and so that they can fix it. Like, you know, it's the problem because they don't want anything said about it. They're like, oh, well, I don't want my kids to feel like white people are inherently evil or racist, and it's like, so what you're saying is what you did was inherently racist and evil. That's what you're saying. And so you don't want your kids to know what you did, but they need to know what you did so that they can fix it. Because if they find out when they're younger, I mean, ain't no telling how they all interpret it. But perhaps when they're younger, if they learn it, that's when their heart is softened. And they will think of ways to fix it and correct it so that when they grow up and get empowered, it can change. But it won't change as long as everybody keep on saying, this don't work, this not there. And then it's not a fix, like a one thing fix all. Y'all arguing back and forth about what needs to be done, and all of it needs to be done. You can't do one thing and not the other because all of it has been done to us. So every part of what's been done needs to be corrected.
How?
There are multiple different ways. Both of y'all are naming different ways. We can stick together as a community. We can learn that. We can stick together as a family. We can learn that. We can get rid of the mindset that we had. We can learn how to stay in our own communities and build within ourselves. We can learn that actually being inclusive is not what's best because they actually don't want us and we actually don't want them because we really feel uncomfortable around them and unsafe. But we have been trained to feel uncomfortable and unsafe around our own too. And then when you take away our opportunity and our education, that actually is realized because even if you have and the other half don't have, the half that don't have is going to come and take. And the half that do have is going to look down on the half that don't have because they're like, well, we came from the same place. How come you don't have too? Instead of just being empathetic and lending it. So it's too many different things that need to happen to fix it because it's too many things that's happened for too long to fix in one little short blur.
I agree with everything that you said. Where I think I differ a little bit is that I don't think that trying to press it in schools or putting any kind of government power on top of it, adding any kind of governmental power into it.
Do you know the government powers that are on top of us that stops us from succeeding?
So
do you know them?
If you add government plus black equals chances are we're gonna go downward. If they don't touch us, we will at least learn to work together and start building from there. But if you start telling the government,
Did you hear what I said? Do you know the things that the government control that are stacked against us though? That even if we were to stick by ourselves, the things that are stacked against us that would still hinder us, do you know them?
Off the top of my head, no.
I mean, at all.
I would say
you know how to research them and find them.
Using Google, yes, possibly. But I don't concern myself with everything that's stacked against me. I always concern myself with what I could do to improve. That's all I ever think.
How do you know how do you know what to improve if you don't know what's stacked against you? How do you fix a problem without knowing that there is a problem?
If I know there's a problem that my finances are low, then I need to figure out how to get more. That's just it.
Okay, so do you want the minimum amount or do you want to go and get the most that you can get?
A penny richer is a penny richer. I don't care about the
but
most.
If you could get a penny, but if you went and talked to these people and filled out a form, you can get 10,000. Would you not want to fill out the form?
Yes. Then I'll fill out as many as I can.
No. So then what I'm saying is, even if we stuck to ourselves, there are still things in government that hinder us from staying independent. Yep. So I'm not saying what you're saying is untrue, because some people do believe that government shouldn't be involved. There are white people who feel like they don't want government involved with them, but typically those are people who are well off. Black people aren't well off.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's cool that y'all can come from wherever y'all came from and scrub and scrape and make it. But that's retarded for me to do that when I've bled and cried and been tortured here and I am owed these things. So give them to me. You can say, oh, why you do that? Well, that's because, that's how you feel. And that's fine. But so what? Because I'm owed these things. And so if we teach CRT, it can help to correct those things so that we can do what you're saying, and we can do what John is saying, and we can use the government. We can do all the things because they're available.
That's actually so. I think we had mentioned that there aren't that many Black teachers that we know of, at least. But I don't think there are as many Black teachers as there are white teachers. So we can't trust white people, but we trust white people enough to teach our kids CRT.
What?
We don't trust the government, but we trust the government enough to push CRT. But none of us on this panel have actually seen a CRT curriculum that's actually being taught to kids. I don't think most of us see, this is where I get confused. It's like you want the government to not be involved at all or completely involved in fixing the problem. It's like you create the problem, you want them to fix it, and it doesn't make any sense. Like, teach your own kids. Like, I really don't get it. I don't get it at all.
Queen, you got any comments?
Huh?
Yeah, no, I was actually about to go to you. Do you have any comments?
Yeah, well, we actually didn't create the problem. We were programmed and taught to live a certain way from the moment we were brought over here. So all the hate, the separation, the division, all that has been taught to us. But when you get to a certain age and you start getting some real knowledge and real truth, yeah, you gotta get to a certain point where you're gonna be like, I'm gonna separate. That's what our people need to do, is separate from the white people and come up with our own. So I agree with what Sis was saying a minute ago. There are so many things that stacked against us as Black people, but we can still figure out a way to come together and separate. It's not impossible. We just got to wake up and stop being damn stupid and get off our behind and get it done. But we got to separate, because their system, everything they created, is not going to help us. Everything that's going on, that's been going on for 400 plus years, has been created, made to destroy us, to kill us. And that's what they've been doing. And now we've been programmed so much, now we killing each other. We separating. We don't stay married. We have babies. We don't stay together. None of that. We don't know how to, like y'all said, hire our own people. We'll hire somebody white. We'll hire somebody Mexican. We'll hire somebody Asian before we even work with our own people. We can't even work together. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't something that we really started. We just got so comfortable and cool with what's going on. We don't want to teach our own kids. We don't want to. Go ahead.
I have a theory. I think, you know what? First, let's. I want to do a quick reaction video because we haven't done our reaction video yet. This conversation started off pretty good. So, where am I? Boom. So, let's segue into this real quick. I think it goes back here. So, fair use.
Fired up about it. I did not use the word racist.
Scholars of critical race theory define it as recognizing race as a social construct, but one that's been deeply embedded in American institutions throughout history. They say you can see implications of that today.
White privilege is real. It is so real.
Like in the criminal justice system or even demographics of communities. Advocates say CRT urges people to grapple with systemic racism, to work toward understanding and fairness.
What are the biases that could exist in the system so that we can actually create that platform and create the equity that we all long for?
But opponents have said CRT perpetuates racism.
It's basically white shaming. And that's basically a racist viewpoint.
Saying it pushes the idea that white people are inherently racist and people of color inherently oppressed.
We can do a lot of good for the nation from here, but not if we're continually divided by race. And
are you playing right now? Really?
Thoughts.
That's some BS, man. That is some BS.com. That's some BS.
Come
I'm
on,
sorry,
man.
that's some BS. That white privilege is real. White people are evil by nature. They don't mean us no good at all. That's a whole bunch of BS. So when we put the finger on them, now they want to get offended. Now they feel like we talking to them. Come on, man. Really? That makes no sense at all. Well, we done been through for 400 plus years being raped, lynched, beat, stolen from our families. We still owe so much to us as Black people, and now they're crying that we being racist towards them because we want to be treated like we equal. Y'all missed me with that. Not y'all directly, but that video missed me with that. I'm confused. Y'all done had the privilege, y'all done had the upper hand for so long.
John, you want to say something?
Man, come on. I mean, I'm the queen on this one. I missed me with that. Because, listen, man. I see through everything. I lived it. I've been in different. Do you know how quick I got a job when I was in Germany?
Yeah.
But let me tell you how fast it was. My commander came to me and said, if you want to do a European out, you know what all that entails? You have to have a job. It has to be approved by me. You have to have a worker's permit, a visa. I don't think you have enough time. You might as well just go and re-enlist. In less than 24 hours, I had all that shit. A good ass job. In less than 24 hours. 24 of them bitches. You hear me? 20 less than 24 of them. And I ain't get it because of no damn we gotta hire this many blacks. Them Germans don't give a fuck about none of that. You either can do it or you can't do it. Mm-hmm. That's the way their society is set up. Just like with credit. You can have credit. But when your black ass don't pay back and you get put on that Schufa list, and anybody from Germany know what the fuck I'm talking about, you can't get credit no more. But you just go to a car lot, pick out your car, show them the contract that you have, they send it over to your bank, and they set the allotment up to go directly to them from your fucking bank. You got credit. It's just that's the way they work. So it's based off of can and can't.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have no complicated ass hiring process. They don't do no background check whatsoever fucking ever. If you're a criminal, you're gonna go to jail. If you goddamn just jump up and go to shooting at somebody for no reason because you're crazy, you're gonna go to prison for life. They handle it after you do something. They don't assume that you could possibly might. They don't do that. What do you think them damn questions on the damn job application? Who do you think they really targeted, man? I gave you the numbers. A nigga is the most likely one to damn say I've been arrested on the application. What? When we start putting them on game about felony, they said, well, this is not working. There's too many niggers being hired right now. We've got to change the narrative on that. Now they ask you, have you ever been arrested?
Yep.
They done left felony alone. First it was, have you ever been incarcerated?
So
we stopped being incarcerated in certain levels. And now too many niggas was avoiding prison. Then it said felony. Too many niggas was avoiding felonies. Now it said, then it went to misdemeanor. Niggas started avoiding misdemeanors. They was getting put on game. Then it went to arrested. Everybody damn done came close to being arrested, nigga. You gonna get arrested, nigga. I know kids that get arrested. Especially nigga kids that get arrested all the time. It's 10 of them getting locked up in New Jersey right now. As we speak. Right this minute. And the sad thing is, about 10 or 15 black kids dying right now. As we speak. Right now. From another black kid.
Yep.
If you don't understand where the fuck, if you understand the big picture, you can solve the small problems. Sometimes in math, because I use math because math is something that is a process. It's a step-by-step process. When you understand how to add and subtract, multiply and divide, then I can teach you to add a letter to this and solve on both sides of the equation. So if you know how to have a strong foundation, if you know the importance of learning these things, then you'll know how to use these things in the smaller increment. That's the importance of CRT. And parents, you say, well, why don't the parents teach it? Man,
the parents themselves don't know.
Call up any black person on here that did not start watching this goddamn thing, and I bet you don't even know what the fuck that is. They don't even know what CRT is.
I know
what it is. I have
A
no
lot
idea.
of people don't. A lot of people don't, because before this show, I asked my dad, like, oh, you ever heard of CRT? And it's very, very misleading because it's such a broad word. And everyone thinks like, oh, you're not allowed to teach your own race in school.
Nope.
That's really like that's just the general sense that everyone gets.
And it's not true. People,
And-
one person
and-
said you can't teach black history in school.
And I
Nigga, no,
truly
it's not.
believe because of the internet, there's been a big boom of black people all coming together, especially on the internet. We've all been somehow finding each other, sharing information, growing bigger, fixing our issues. And then out of nowhere, something like CRT comes and starts as another divisive topic. I don't think it should be brought into schools, because I think we were doing a good job of fixing it ourselves. Whether it's starting a lot more of these, whoa. We are starting a lot more conversations about what it is that we're not doing as a community. That has been a
still
big,
have them same conversations. Only thing it's going to do is make you know how important the conversation is. That's all it's going to do.
Correct.
See, it's
And
only divisive because some white man said it was divisive. We are never going to think it's divisive. How in the fuck will we think it's divisive? We're not going to think it's divisive because I live it. I know for a fact the system exists. For a fact. And I almost got my little stupid ass caught up in that system. I sure did. I almost got caught up in that system. Was this close right here. This close from being a damn statistic. And had I become a statistic, none of this shit you see on this under my face over here would be a fucking, it wouldn't even be a possibility. One bad decision and all that shit goes away.
That would have been poor. That would have been bad. I wouldn't have wanted that. But Danielle, go ahead.
You keep on saying that it's not important to have in school, right, or to teach in school.
I just don't think it's wise to leave it up to the
You don't
government.
think it's
to add it into
wiser
school.
that it's important, but that's exactly how they start to brainwash our kids. It's like very small. If it wasn't important, then they wouldn't be fighting so hard not to have it. If it wasn't important, they wouldn't lie in the history books.
Who's going to be teaching
If
it?
it wasn't important, it wouldn't be so much pushback about it.
Who is going to? If there's no black teachers actually teaching it, what are they going to be teaching? No one actually knows what the curriculum is. No one actually knows what they're going to be teaching the kids.
None of us
So
are
why should
teachers,
we-
so why would we
So
know?
I-
You arguing about something that none of us are even qualified
and
to teach.
and
None of us
that's
are
and
teachers.
that's what I'm saying. It's if you said it yourself, there's not a lot of black teachers out there. So why are we going to
I
leave
didn't
it
say
up
anything
to
about the black
school?
teachers. That was Miss Ebony, but
Okay, yes. So Chris said it. There's not. Was it Chris?
I responded to John
It was.
said, yeah.
Yeah,
so-
yeah. Someone said it. There's not a lot of black teachers out there. So how could we leave it up to the school to actually teach it then? If there's not someone
the same way that you leave it up
looks
to them
like
to teach
us teaching it.
anything else, if you actually made a curriculum for it and
You
put
took
it
the
into
words
the
out of my
curriculum,
mouth.
you can put it
Yep.
on state tests, just like you do anything else to make sure it's being taught. It's
But
ways,
what is being
it's checks and balances for everything that you do. But if you have a mindset of that it's not a good thing, then you will find all the reason against it, and none of the
What
reason
is being
to see the
taught?
good reason.
See, I'm confused. Why can't someone argue against it for not knowing what it is, but people can argue for it and still not know what
I didn't
it
say
is?
anybody could or couldn't do anything.
I didn't. You did. I'm just saying in general. No one knows what it is, but we're still saying, oh, we can still teach it. It could still be taught because it still could help, but no one knows what it is.
I mean,
No one
I was
knows.
listening
You
to
don't
what it
even know
is.
how they're defining race. They could be defining race as a subgroup of people, and they could be teaching your kids about gay people. We don't even know. No one knows what's actually being taught to kids. Some information has been leaked by some teachers that don't like it, and they've gone through hidden curriculums. Which, how true is that? I don't know. How big is it? How many other schools are doing that? I don't know. But the idea is the transparency on the curriculum is so incredibly low, but our trust in a curriculum that we know nothing about is so incredibly high. And my question is, why? Why and how can we fight for something if we have no clue what's being taught? But as a race, we're so incredibly fragile. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't think it's nothing wrong with trying to explain the inequities of our community, which is what it seems like CRT's purpose is to explain what the differences are. And since it's so brand new, it's impossible to have a curriculum. But the more it's talked about and used, that's how you get a curriculum. You know, that's how like everything works. So the more you talk about it and the more it's built out, then there will eventually be a clear curriculum that can be tested. But if you just shut it down, then it won't happen. My whole thing is the reason I'm for it is because what we have does not work. What we have is a hindrance. What we have is a closed door to the issues that need to be solved. And so until we talk about them, we cannot fix them. So we need to talk about them. We need to figure out how to get a curriculum and then how to put it in and how to get it tested for and to see if we change something, if it changes what's happening. Because what we're doing now doesn't work. So why stick with it? Why not try something to change? I'm going to fight for something that's different because what we have doesn't work. I'm for anything different.
You know what? Let me put some brain power into this. All right, let me put some brain power into how to make it actually work. What can he do? What can he do? Start a class in each school that is specifically geared around CRT, critical race theory, and
start off by making it an elective.
An elective, so it's only
so it's not
from
required.
What grades?
The first foundation, so CRT basic curriculum should be taught in the 6th grade. That's a good grade. The 6th grade, because the mind is still malleable, and you can really reach out to those kids because those kids typically are not too far gone yet, right?
They don't have concrete thinking. They can do abstract thinking at that point too.
Exactly. So that would be a really good age.
Okay.
Because see, what I've noticed,
parents would have to elect them. I'm assuming.
What? Huh?
It's an elective by the parents. I'm assuming.
It's an elective by the parents. Yes, it's like they don't have to have it to graduate. And there's no minimum amount that they have to teach the class. No minimum. I don't give a damn if it's one student, then that student gets to, the parent can get, if there's only one student that takes the class, which I doubt that it will be like that. If it's only one student take the class, then that child has the option of virtual learning in a one-on-one environment, maybe in a library or something like that during that time. And the teacher will oversight.
What is CRT? Can you Google it and go through it live? It's gonna be a tough find. It's like,
no, it ain't.
I was about to say, no, it's not.
But it's been around since the 1970s and 80s. It's not new.
I think it's like 1980s. Drop a link in the private chat if you got one. But go ahead, John. You were saying?
Yeah. So, but here's what befuddles me. Where is all the pushback for all this these pronouns? Where is that pushback? The shit that's being taught that's not even scientifically fucking proven. Where is that? Nobody's fucking pushing out back against that. You're even rearranging the fucking proper spoken English to accommodate this one group who happens to be majority white. Where's the pushback there? It took a damn man who goddamn can't stand nobody, blacks or whites, but they damn sure couldn't stand homosexuals and anything else. Is why he made a whole law against it. I ain't stupid. See what I mean? See, I don't take tolerance for acceptance. I understand the difference. I will tolerate your black ass. That don't mean I accept you. Tolerance and acceptance, two different things. Not the same thing. Period. Acceptance is met with an embrace. Tolerance is met with a handshake. Remember that.
Okay. let's finish out this video real quick. It's still there. Fair use.
And or gender. Let's look at ourselves as equal. I think that's what Martin Luther King Jr. was looking for.
Some Missouri lawmakers are pushing to ban CRT in schools. They say it can make children feel bad.
To me, this is child abuse.
Past several years, there have been many attempts to fundamentally change our traditions and our rich history.
A history that has been largely written by white people.
All we want is just a little acknowledgement.
America can be a great country and while also being a flawed country. And that it is okay to address those flaws, to bring attention to it, and in some cases, rewrite a more accurate version of history.
Defining race-related terms like CRT is one thing, having the difficult conversations is another. I'm Abby Larico, 5 on your side.
He said Martin Luther King, huh?
He had to throw something in there.
Martin Luther King, huh? Okay, the same person that was preaching integration and got dead. Okay.
Yeah, I was told. Listen, integration was like the worst fucking thing that happened to blacks. It was the worst thing that happened to blacks. You should have been in your own school. Plessy versus Ferguson. If it would, the courts should have fucking forced the government to uphold that shit and leave it blacks over here, whites over here. If y'all motherfuckers want to mix up when you go to college, that's on you. But we got think about what would happen in this present day if there was no such thing as a mixed school. The HBCUs would be fucking thriving. They would be king of the motherfucking walk. They would be dominant in the NCAA. They would be dominating in the football arena, basketball arena, just killing it in the NBA, all of that shit. All of it. But now black kids who want to go to school on a scholarship, who have that talent, they want to attend HBCUs. Because why? The narrative is you need to go to Alabama, Auburn, somebody who's got a chance at making it to a damn national title, television ratings. Deion Sanders doing all he can down at Jackson State to get he landed a 5-star recruit. And he had some 4-stars on there. Kids who would normally be going to fucking Alabama, places like that.
Okay, so it's actually pretty similar to what I was reading earlier. Over the last year, very few terms have ignited more debate than critical race theory. Critical race theory, CRT, teaches that people are either oppressor or oppressed, good or bad, based on their race. It then claims that the only way to stop racism is to tear down existing institutions and overthrow and replace our constitutional form of government. Racism is wrong. Every person is created in the image of God, deserving of equal treatment and respect. But CRT is not the solution to racism in America. Instead, it only compounds the problem. But what else what's that? Oh, what else? But what else should we know about CRT? Where does it come from? Where is it spreading? And how might it affect the freedoms you care about? It's an extremely complex topic, so let's break it down. Well, I will post this in the chat.
Hold up. Where did you get that from?
That was
no, I need to know where the source came from.
Alliance Defending Freedom.
What?
Alliance Defending Freedom?
No, bro, that is a personal
ADFlegal.org.
Where?
ADFlegal.org.
ADFlegal.org.
Yeah.
So is that
Apple Dr. Frederick Legal.org.
Hold on, bro. Because I saw some language in there that had nothing to do with critical race. I seen queer, I seen gender, and ain't none of that shit got a fucking thing to do with no critical.
No, but that wasn't critical race theory. That was just critical. That was just critical thinking.
Something.
Gender
theory.
That was a different category. It was more than one subject. here.
No, she's
Yeah,
right.
but why is it even grouped in here? Why are we even talking about it? Why are you even making the allude? Because
The whole
if you put it
idea
at the forefront, I don't want to read the rest.
The whole idea is that this
Then go find
sounds
another
like
article.
something.
Hold on, man.
sounds
I'll
like
get a
Jordan
better
Bachman
one.
said.
Hold on. I'll get a fucking better one.
Yeah, drop it in the private chat.
I will.
I'm definitely.
I think that's
curious
not being
about
taught in schools, personally. I think they're combining it in schools. So the only thing I've seen that a teacher leaked, what she leaked was exactly what was read about them being combined. So I honestly
You said
think
what happened?
CRT,
Go right there.
what
This one right
the
here.
teacher leaked.
Hey, right, pull that shit out. There.
A teacher leaked a hidden curriculum, like what the parents couldn't see. She leaked like what teachers were being supposed to teach the students. And it was on like activism, LGBTQ rights. There were some things on there for like Black and like white privilege and stuff like that. But it was all like grouped together. But again, it's like a curriculum that no one truly knows. No one really knows. No, like parents don't truly know what all is going to be grouped into CRT. We can't even find one article that's going to define it properly, probably. So.
Okay. That's in the CRT, a theoretical framework and approach to learning that helps us understand how racial and structural disparities endure despite laws designed to discourage them. Its teaching is
Yeah, because I'm like, I put that's part of the article I put. It's 3 different articles in there. 4.
Yeah, because that was a long article. We're definitely gonna.
Yeah, all of them are long. You can't want to know about something and want to learn about it in 2 sentences.
Yeah, well, listen, I like bullet points of things because we're on a show, but I get what you're saying.
And see, this is what the one part that I really think this should be taught is CRT or inherit so if you look at the beginning just before if you look at still in the part of the first paragraph on the second point that I put out there in the private chat, the critical race theorists hold that racism is inherent in the law as it currently exists. These laws, when viewed through framework of CRT, are inherently designed to create and maintain social, economic, and political inequalities. That's the fucking what I was telling you. That's exactly what the fuck I was trying to explain you, and I just demonstrated it to you. They know what the fuck they know what the fuck they doing, man. They know what the fuck they doing, bro. If I know for a fucking fact that these group of students here have trouble in XYZ, then I'm gonna make a fucking test that tests XYZ. And then what makes it so fucking bad is that the schools in the fucking Caribbean don't even require a fucking MCAT. And they put out 15,000 motherfucking doctors a year who go on and pass the boards and they come in here. But then they try to talk about those schools. Would you let someone work on you who graduated from a Caribbean school? Huh, I wouldn't. Huh. But then them bitches going in there making 260s on the USMLE. Oh, and by the way, 300 is the max. Just thought I'd let you know that. They are competing with motherfuckers from Harvard, Yale, Princeton, and outdoing them in some regards. So where the fuck was the MCAT important? They had a motherfucker who aced the MCAT, got a damn in the 98th percentile, was a straight A student from Harvard, and flunked the fuck out of medical school. How did that happen? Well, Bob, let me tell you how that happens. You got some motherfuckers who cannot make that transition from what you see in the book to this cadaver over here on this goddamn table. When the questions don't lead you with hints that you've read and you can't use your critical thinking skills to make that changeover, and I'm just giving you a situation, then that becomes a little difficult for little Johnny. Oh yeah, he did good in molecular biology and all this other shit. And guess what? The MCAT tests for all of that, physics and all of that. But none of that shit, doctors are not using fucking physics to solve medical problems. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. They're not using math. They use technology. They don't even use a calculator to figure out your fucking prescription. Once they know how much your fucking ass weighs, they plug it into that damn cell phone on a fucking app, and it tells them how to write the fucking prescription. Wow, go figure. But they keeping your black ass out of there for a test that is none needed. And then to be competitive, you need to score in at least the 85th percentile. and have a science GPA of 3.8. Really? Well, the Caribbean schools don't require all that, and them motherfuckers is putting out doctors left, right, and coming. No MCAT. They only want to see if you took physics. They only want to see if you took chemistry 1 and 2. The rest you're gonna learn there. You gotta have some foundation. So when we start talking about biochemistry and shit like that, and the metabolic process, then you are not totally lost. But we're talking about a human here. You have to know certain things, and you're gonna learn it in medical school because you're not learning it in that class. They're not teaching the metabolic pathways like that. And you don't have to know all of them. You just need to know, the 20 essential amino acids and the fucking 12 metabolic pathways. Because that's going to give you an answer to most of that. So why are you testing so fucking hard? Oh, because we don't want a lot of niggers in here. It's too many of y'all. And yeah, some of y'all are pretty damn smart. We want you to go play football now. Be a good boy. So my master over here can own your ass under a contract. Man, I can run, I can run, I can jump high, and I can score the ball. That's what I can do. Modern day fucking slavery. I hear him talking about some, well, so-and-so was traded. Nigga, he was sold. He was sold.
Until he breaks his leg, and then that's it.
Oh, and then you out of here.
Yeah. That's why I was never a fan of sports. Okay. Second video of the night. Okay. So, where is it? In depth.
Why you sit back there looking mad? Huh? Say what? You didn't know this? Well, now you know.
Okay. Sorry. Give me 1 second, guys. Technical difficulty.
But see, this is the why. This is why I teach you everything I teach you. This is why I stay on you. You understand?
So now I get that joke.
Exactly. Now you get it. Now you get it. Good.
With all the misinformation, it made it more difficult to engage in dialogue and healthy debate on how we educate students from our nation's history to current social disparities. I spoke with several education experts to explain what it is and how it would theoretically look in the classroom.
I think there's a good deal of misunderstandings of critical race theory and how it's applied.
So what is critical race theory? Many scholars define it as a framework to help explain how and why racial inequities still exist in our society.
Often people think about racism as individual acts of bias or bigotry, but really CRT helps us understand the ways that racism is a system.
Proponents of critical race theory argue that that system has lasting effects and impacts the lives of people of color today.
We don't want to just tell certain aspects of history. We want to be able to tell all aspects of history so that our children are coming out of the school systems K through 12 with a deeper understanding of what society is, what it was, and how to move forward, how we can make it even better.
Critical race theory was started back in the 1970s by legal scholars and activists as a way of examining laws and power structures through the lens of race.
And acknowledge that there are different outcomes for different people and that perhaps justice is not blind.
Since then, it's made its way into different academic disciplines as one of the many lenses.
Thoughts so far, Queen?
And you on our honest opinion, all this is just garbage to us. It's not making no sense at all. We're not teaching the right stuff. We all want to come together and make a change, but we're not teaching the correct way to do it.
What do you mean?
All these videos and everybody giving their opinion on research and bias and who equals and who more important. We the ones that's been oppressed. That's all we can really say. It's gonna be on us, but we too damn lazy to get up and do something. So how we expect somebody else to do it? We can sit here and do these videos all day long,
I
But
agree.
the fact of the matter is that Black people, we've been oppressed. That's what it is. And until we realize that, it ain't gonna be no change. We keep going to the white people. We keep going to them for help, for everything that we need when we can get it ourselves. I think we said this earlier before we got started. You know, we Muslim. Our messenger, who we believe is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Don't know if y'all know this, but when he was here, we had our own schools, we had our own grocery stores, we had Black women and men, brothers and sisters coming together. After he left, all that went to hell, straight up. So we talking about all these videos and all this. Let's come together and let's do this. We need to get some truth and get some knowledge, and a lot of us don't have it. We don't have it. So how are we supposed to even know who the hell we are, and we ain't got no knowledge? And this just coming from us because we Muslim, but that's what it is. We can't rely on this system to do a damn thing because it's not going to work. Everything they're doing is going to fail. It's going to cease and desist. One day it's coming.
I think it's all really just to push an underlying agenda. I agree with you that. Listen, my biggest thing is that families got to start sticking together.
Mm-hmm.
Families
we've
like
been taught how not to do that though, because we've been like you said, when we were brought over here, we were programmed from the jump. We didn't know how to read. We were illiterate. We didn't know how to study. None of that.
If anything, and that's why I'm saying now more than ever in history, especially what COVID did. All right. I hope that didn't shut down my freaking channel just even for saying that. It got everyone sitting in their house and realizing how miserable they are. And because everyone's sitting in the house and realizing how miserable, hey, how you doing, Unique? For everyone sitting in the house and realizing how miserable they are, they started to go online and search how many other Black people out there are feeling the same way. And we all started talking about our issues. And we're all realizing, maybe we have to start sticking. And that's why I said, even though I got some weird looks, I said, I think we as a Black people are starting to come together now. We're starting to work or even start to have a conversation on how to work together, how to build together. I think we need to keep progressing that way. Is that going to be an overnight shift that everyone is suddenly going to say, hey, let me go marry my baby mama and actually try to build a family? No, that's not going to happen. But if the more people that can pick this knowledge up and actually just keep going with it, let's try to stick together. Let's try to work together. Let's try to work with other people instead of looking at each other as enemies. I don't need to mean mug every Black guy that walks by me. I could probably shake his hand and ask him how he's doing. He might probably have a hookup that might probably help me out, or I might be able to help him out. And that's how we keep building. And what I'm saying is, we can't focus on what's happened. The Jews are the perfect example of people that never really they completely got annihilated. And they all just stuck together. They didn't try to go anywhere else. They literally stuck together and just started working together as a family. They barely ever marry out, if at all.
Yeah, because their race wasn't taught to do that. Ours was.
I got something to say about that.
Yeah, go ahead. I saw your face, so
he want to go somewhere, so I'm gonna ask him this question real quick, if you don't mind, Clement. Who discovered America? Say it in the mic, son.
Say it with your chest.
Columbus.
Who?
Christopher Columbus.
That's a lie. And you can tell your teacher I said that.
Yes, sir.
All right, you can go on. But that shit's being taught in schools. That's okay. Wonder why? Oh, because he looks like them. See, the more that I show you the importance of a white man, the more you're going to want to feel accepted and become a part of that narrative. And we say, well, families, if we just stick together and we just do this. So why ain't anybody standing up for the shit that's being taught in these damn schools? Because none of it perpetuates family. Matter of fact, white people, because it's a research fact that blacks are homophobic for the most part, transphobic, all the phobics. If you ain't a man with a woman, for the most part, black people do not accept it. Like, they just don't. That's what they just don't. My God. So whites have redefined the family nucleus. it is two humans and not necessarily any children involved. Children aren't even part of the damn definition anymore. So how are you going to fucking address something about family when black women are told you should find a white man? You should also allow your child to be free to express whoever. You should have if you have a boy and he just so happens to like the color pink, then he's probably a girl. And that would be just fine. And you're teaching the children, confusing the hell out of them as to you're not a boy, you're not a girl. So if I'm a boy and I don't know I'm a fucking boy because you done confused the fuck out of me, then I start thinking I'm a fucking girl. How's that gonna affect me when it's time for me to start a family? I don't know what the fuck to do. And God forbid you have me over here cutting my shit off, a decision I'm gonna make permanently, but all that's being taught. So how do you navigate your way around that? Maybe this will bring some balance back to something else. Because if that shit can be taught in school, CRT definitely should be taught in school. The hell? Knowing it's a whole damn system out here that's centered around destroying your ass if you let it. A whole system. I promise you it is. This ain't no fucking myth. This is real. That shit happens. That shit happens. Qualified blacks get passed over for jobs every fucking day. I got a homegirl was arrested down in fucking Florida. You understand me? Ran naked, ran over a fucking cyclist, charged with a felony, was high on drugs, been a drug addict for 15 fucking years. Come out and run a goddamn company, man. Get out of here. And you telling me white privilege don't exist, nigga? Get the fuck out of here, bro.
It does.
You get a felony like that and a known drug addict, nigga, you finna work at McDonald's. That's about it. You either gonna work in a factory, McDonald's, the chicken house, some shit like that. But a company, nigga, and you got a charge card? Posting shit on her Facebook. What, nigga, you did that? Then them niggas, and you ain't even gotta do it. You ain't gotta pay for a background check to see what this motherfucker did. Just Google her ass. That's all you got to do is Google. You can say that $34.99, boo-boo, because all her shit is public record. And that's the only known. She's got multiple felonies, possession charges. Oh, well, she was just going through a time in her life where the world seemed to just have her discouraged, and she was probably depressed. And we can understand her escaping to a life of drugs. You know what? You're right. I think everyone deserves a second chance. Ain't nobody got time for that. But if you're a nigga, where your second chance? Yeah, niggas go in there truly remorseful. I did it. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Get out. Nigga can't find a job, can't do nothing.
Well, the world in general, the world
is back to drug selling. That's what it does.
It's unfair to men, but especially to black men. I'm not gonna disagree with that.
And that's who needs to understand the fucking system the most. Those young black boys, because they got around the age of 12 and 13 years old. By the time the fucking young black boy is 13, guess what? Even in my own house, Chase ass was on juvenile probation, man.
What?
Yes. Yes. That's when I had the conversation with him. I said, your mama in denial, okay? White people gonna look at you as a nigga. They had video evidence of who broke the fucking window. This nigga threw a rock. He did that. But the motherfucker who broke the window ain't on shit. Oh, he was a white boy. I forgot to tell you that part. And his other co-conspirator, nothing. Neither one of them. They said that he was the mastermind. He was the one who came up with the idea. But the when you watch the video, the one who I could tell by the way the vigor and the enthusiasm in which he threw that fucking brick through that window, who the mastermind was, because he made sure he broke it. Towed the whole damn front. Boom! When it didn't break the first time, he hit it again. Then Dum Dum back there went and threw a rock so quick, he didn't even watch the motherfucking rock fall. He was out of there. Gone, scared to death. But that's the mastermind? No, he was the fall guy. That was his first lesson in running with trash and then running in a group doing dirt. Nigga, you gonna get snitched out and you are gonna be the one who goes down.
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
So how are they going to teach how to not get in that situation in schools? Like, how is CRT the solution?
To me, or I guess that's to me because Clement is against
it. Because I think where I'm struggling is that we go into these like rabbit holes of this is how we're oppressed. Life sucks for Black people because white people have this privilege, which, yes, agree or disagree. But the question is, how is it being taught in the schools? At what age is it being taught in the schools? Who's teaching in the schools? How broad, how narrow is the curriculum that's being taught in the schools? Who do you trust to just teach your kids about that level of oppression? Like,
okay, so here's the thing. The
Wait,
curriculum.
hold on, John. Give me 1 second. Unique, right. You haven't spoken yet. Thoughts?
I mean, I don't even know exactly what the question is.
No, your thoughts on CRT, critical race theory. If it should be taught in schools.
I think I think I struggle like Luma Emily in a sense of that. I feel like yes, it should be taught, but I want to teach stuff to my children because I don't want the school system to do it because they not what they doing now. So, but I think it should be taught. I think it should be learned. I think the white people should learn it. I think they should learn it as well. Talking about they don't need to learn it because they're gonna start feeling guilty. No, you need to learn what their ancestors did. That's what they did. So then not to do that. You have to learn because if you don't, then you just carry on to the next. That's what we've been doing. Just carrying on to the next generation, carrying on to the next generation. So
and so on.
I don't know. This one is going to be a little bit different because my children are going to know way more than I did in my age. Like I'm just discovering all these things about us and about Black people, African people, the CRT, whatever. I'm just discovering all these things, stuff that was not taught to me in school. So, it was just a fluff. And they did tell you some, the egregious things about what they did to Black people in the textbooks, but
very shallow.
That's all we were started with. Like, I didn't know it was nothing else before that. You know what I'm saying? So I think yes, it should be taught, but I don't know if it should be taught in the schools. I think it should be something that should be like maybe a board should like maybe have a school curriculum about it and a presentation about it and somebody come up with it, like all these different minds come up with one curriculum and then it can be taught. But just to be like, oh, you can teach it, but it's broad. I don't, do whatever you want with it. Then no. Mm-mm.
Do you?
Go ahead.
Hold on. I'm gonna throw this question in, and then you could talk, and then answer your part of the question. All right. So, real quick, what are the upsides to critical race theory as you know it? What are the downsides? John, go ahead. Now you can say what you were about to say.
All right. First, I'm gonna start off with answering Ebony's question about the who, the why, the when, the what, and the where. So I think it should start in grade 6. I think the curriculum should be predetermined by a group of Black doctors to determine on each level. The curriculum should be probably drawn up at some Black institutions with a representative, doctor representative for each portion, to discuss one being in that of education, to make the curriculum understandable at each grade level, and in the higher grades like the 12th grade or 11th grade, they should have the full onset of the full theory to prepare them to move forward in life. The foundational tenets should be taught in grades 6 through 9. So meaning, each year you get a little bit more of it. So you should have a class like CRT 1 and CRT 2, and then advanced CRT once you get to high school. That way, that the only thing that's being focused on is a system that is in play, that if you fall into this particular category, it will affect you this way. There's nothing wrong with that. Not a fucking thing. So if you move how you need to move, you can avoid this system by doing this. It is not something that is an end all be all, right? You need to make better decisions so that you don't become a victim of the system. The system in which, if you're caught up, if you become a guilty man, you will end up having to work a job to where you can't move and progress forward. You can ruin your chances of receiving federal aid. You can ruin your chances of going to attending school, college, when you want to change your mind, when you want to become a better person. It is imperative that you pay attention in STEM and those, because these classes are going to put you in a very distinct category to where you cannot be denied because they're in such need. Pay attention in these science classes because it will, but know this: you must be an excellent test taker. And if you need to get extra help, then you need to get that extra help, because the medical system is designed to keep you out, not to bring you in. And it's not a lie. It's just the way it is. It is. Children, the average medical student, bro, comes from a family that has a $80,000 to $100,000 income, which means they live in nicer homes, which means they have better schools. So the cards are already stacked against those Black students. Redlining is supposed to have been gone a long time ago. That shit still exists, man. The school is contingent upon your fucking property value to this day. To right now. You mean to tell me on over there in Newark, over by the airport, they have the same school system as the motherfuckers who live in Hoboken? Is that true? You know that is not true. And I don't live in New Jersey, but I bet you the quality of education ain't the fucking same.
Not the same, yeah.
No, I know it ain't. So what about those damn Black kids over there who aspire to be something, whose parents working, doing all they fucking can? Now what? What the chances do they have? How hard is it for them to fucking pass these damn tests? How hard is it? Is that fair? No, it's not. They can't help where the fuck they live at. And what's a sad thing is the parents can't help where the fuck they live at. That's what's sad. Because they'll grow broke trying to move to fucking Hoboken. Because they didn't understand the system. Dad probably is not even in the home. He's probably in fucking prison. I bet if we did a survey of how many fucking single Black families it was with no man in the household, the numbers would be staggering. What you think? So that means your young Black boys are being misguided.
Absolutely.
Completely misguided.
Yeah.
You understand?
Chris, you were gonna say something?
Go ahead.
I definitely I agree with that. You definitely made a lot of sense on how it can be taught. How I think it's actually going to be taught in schools, because now it's being publicized and made a big thing. I don't think it's gonna go that well.
That was the whole fucking ploy. That was the thing. You don't hear him say shit about these goddamn pronouns, do you? They embraced
absolutely.
that shit. They embraced it. They fucking embraced it.
Yeah.
The federal government even have a section for non-binary and cis. And who the fuck invented this shit? It wasn't a scholar. It wasn't. It was a fucking group of people. The very minority, a less minority than blacks, which shows you what you're thought about in this country. You're not. I would rather perpetuate a fucking lie than to fucking stand on the goddamn truth. I would rather your child know that he can cut his dick off and become a fucking girl alive with no genetic makeup, no chromosome backing at fucking all. Oh my God. Than to fucking talk about some shit that has always been in play. The system started back just after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. And the only reason that son of a bitch got signed was because of money. That's the only reason. Abraham Lincoln didn't give a fuck about no niggas at all. Period. He cared about being fucking elected. That's what he cared about. And that's all they care about. That's why everybody hated Trump, because he didn't give a fuck. He couldn't be bought. You keep your fucking money. I ain't signing that shit. I'm a billionaire, bitch.
2024.
I say what the fuck I want to say, and hell no, I'm not signing that stupid shit. It's stupid and un-American. But then you get this broke motherfucker in here. I'll sign it if you just vote for me. Well, sure, we'll vote for you. Him and they will vote for you. First goddamn bill on the ticket. All trans children should have the fair right to compete in their sports. It is un-American for them not to. So if you're a boy and you don't really have a fucking chance against other boys, you can run against the girls and beat their ass and break their records and act like they never fucking existed. But there's not one fucking female activist saying a fucking thing out her fucking mouth. Instead, they too worried about a motherfucker like me who likes to raise his damn voice. He's toxic. Women, stay away from him. No, bitch, I'm a man. It's called masculinity. Ain't shit toxic about it. It's who I am. I digress. I'm getting too heated.
I think anything that's going to be passed with CRT is going to have an underlying tone of probably not even an underlying tone. It's probably just going to be a drastic.
It's going to look more like that shit you posted the first time. That's exactly the way it's going to go. That's the only way it'll get passed. That's the only fucking way it will get passed.
And that's what I'm saying. It's I don't recommend it being. Listen, if you leave it up to the government to try to teach it in schools, it's going to be placed there with a whole bunch of other crap that will try to undermine it.
All I'm saying is it has validation, man.
It has validation, yeah, of course. But if you leave it up to the same people that have put these same systems as disenfranchised for so long to now try to teach it in schools, sure, they might put that, but they're also going to put other things in there. They're going to put one plus for every 5 to 6 minuses, man. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I got a question for the panel.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So there's a private business and it's owned by a white person. And on a daily basis, they frequently use the term nigger. What can you do? Raise your hand if you know. Can you sue them under Title VII?
Question. What's Title VII?
Title VII is what is anti-discrimination title.
Okay.
Do they and further
Say the scenario again. Say the scenario again.
I'm gonna change the scenario up because that one was a tough one.
Yeah, you think so?
Under Title VII, if an employer has less than 15 people can he or she be sued for discrimination under Title VII law?
I think you said no to that before, if I recall.
Yeah, I don't think they can be sued.
I don't know.
But that would depend on what they did for discrimination, right?
Now you wear dresses to work and you're a man and you feel like you're a woman and that's your fucking right. And they said I don't hire fucking queers here or whatever.
Oh well, yeah, of course. Yeah, you could sue the living hell out of them.
No,
you're a man wearing a dress.
Nope, you can't.
Man wearing a dress, you can't sue
You cannot.
them? Really?
No, Title VII does not cover anybody except businesses of 15 employees or more.
15
Can't
or
do
more.
shit.
Okay,
15 or more. You got 14 of them motherfuckers and you have to have 15 or more and been in business more than 20 weeks. Other than that, hey, I can straight up tell you, I don't hire your type here. It's not gonna happen. You're not working here. Period. And thus, the reason that there is a fucking system. Because just like he would see, what I hate about this shit is because we got paired with homosexuals in the fucking first civil rights movement. We got paired during the hippie revelation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said revelation. I meant revolution. But anyway, and we ain't never got away from them motherfuckers since.
Yeah.
For us to have any type of equality, you have to go to areas where there are a lot of homosexuals. Because if the homosexuals have rights, you have rights. The people there think different. It's sad but true.
And
it's
that's
sad but true. Man, if you don't want to put up with that, then you're gonna have to be about your big boy business, a big girl panties on, right? Put your big boy drawers and big girl panties on, and go to places where them motherfuckers discriminate equally against both of y'all motherfuckers, homosexuals and blacks, because we're stuck. We're tandem to fucking together. We just are.
Yeah.
So Title 15, I brought this up because Title 7 and this whole private businesses employ a lot of fucking people. Right? They do.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those jobs are really good fucking jobs that you can use as a stepping stone and a jump off point. There's been plenty of motherfuckers that come from a smaller company and they end up getting a nice ass position because they've got that very intimate, they know how to write a resume for one. And then they've got that very intimate work experience. So they learn the job at a smaller scale really, really, really good. And that translates over to a larger company. And you've got maybe 5 or 6 years of experience. That's why you don't see a lot of, if you go to white-owned mom and pop shops, you don't see it. Pop shop, you don't see a bunch of niggas in there because they don't have to hire you at all. Period. Then ain't a damn thing that can be done apart, but that is part of a system. That's exactly what I'm saying. These laws don't fucking protect you. You have to protect you. It's like I tell my boy, you're the fucking guarantee. You cannot give them a rope to fucking hang you with. And giving them a rope is you talking in fucking class, not doing your fucking homework, not reading extra, not learning to speak the King's English, not learning to write properly. All of this is a noose around your fucking neck. All of it. All of it. Period. It is. Not knowing what to say and when to say it. Or just don't say shit.
Agreed. But I don't think that's taught to a lot of boys.
It's not being taught, period. They let you hang your fucking self. A lot of times a teacher won't even address a boy, especially a black boy. One, she's scared of him. That's the main reason she don't want to address him. There is no paddling in school. There is no fear. You think them boys give a fuck about getting suspended? No, because they don't understand the importance of not going down that road. They don't understand that certain jobs will go back and ask how your behavior was in high school, how you were in college, i.e. federal jobs.
I mean,
Jobs that
No.
pay well, that require clearance, they will come and talk to people about you. Your high school football coach, your next door neighbor, they sure will.
I think
They
this
will
all
they will troll your
comes from the
YouTube
home,
pages.
man. And I get what you're saying and everything that you've laid it out very well. You really have. Like, if you've laid out a curriculum and everything like that, but if it's left to the government to try to pass it in school, just like you said,
They're gonna have to add that other shit.
They're gonna add a whole bunch of other stuff that'll
shit.
be very detrimental. And so I would say it would heavily require more parents to start stepping in and be parents. Stop telling your boy to pick up a basketball and tell him to go to a trade school. Like, tell him, okay, if you're not going to pay attention in class, then you gotta get a job. And if you're gonna get a job, you gotta be the best at it. Like, these are it sounds crazy, but these are things that every other race, I would say, gets taught. Like, you gotta be the best. Like, Asians are known for, it's like, hey, listen, if you get a B, then you're a failure of a son. Like, it's an A or you failed. That's just it. That's just how they see everything, which makes sense why most of them are doctors and lawyers, like, or Indians are the same exact way.
Yep. Nigerians are the same exact way.
The Nigerians are the same exact way. And all I'm saying is that's what has to be starts to be implemented.
No, that's child abuse. You can't do that. You are living your failed dreams through your child.
Then you abuse your child.
That's the narrative. I'm not joking, Chris. You know I'm not lying. Am I lying? Would that not be the case? You're living your failed dreams and ambitions through your child, and this is not a good environment for this child to be able to foster his own and become the person who he want, or she, or it, or whatever person
or they
it would like to be, or even they. That's the fucking new narrative, man. You can't do that shit. You can't do it and your child go to school and talk about it. Social worker gonna come see you. I'm not joking.
But those are the same people that are creating CRT, though. See, I agree with Clement. So this is the thing. You send your kid to school, they learn CRT, they learn, okay, if you don't do A, B, and C, you're screwed in life. Partially because you're going to be behind, and another layer is because you're black, right?
Mm-hmm.
They go to school, they learn it, but then they still come home. There's no dad at home, so they're the ones that have to watch their siblings while their mom works 12-hour shifts every night. They're getting dinner ready for their siblings. They're putting their siblings to bed, and then they have no time to do their homework. So they go to school and learn how oppressed they are, but they still have to go home to a lack of structure, a lack of discipline. So it's like, okay, is the reason why we're here because they haven't been teaching CRT in schools? Or is there something that we can do completely separate from the government that will help us improve? Because everything that you listed, yes, that would be great if they taught it at school, but that kid still goes home after learning all of that CRT, and they're still screwed at home because of the bad decision that their parents made. Who is it going to help? The statistics are still going to creep in, and that child is still more likely to be incarcerated at 18, not because they didn't teach CRT in school, but because they didn't have a dad at home. So again, it's like, I understand, yes, if we want to test it out, I plan to homeschool my kids personally.
I'm headed.
I understand if you want to test it out and see, because maybe it will work. I'm not saying that I don't think that it won't help, right? I don't agree with a lot of the changes they're making in history. But the thing is that, do you think that that's the solution? And then do you think, if you have an idea of how it should be taught, do you really trust this system that you think has been keeping you down for all these years to teach your child who they are and how they should move in the world? I just think it's a huge contradiction.
Yeah, exactly. 100%
But it should be something. It can't be nothing. Like in school, something should be taught. I'm not saying that, that we shouldn't have any input about it, but it should be taught. Something should be taught, because they're not going to.
I agree. Like, no, I can't even say I agree with that, unfortunately.
I'm cutting up.
Because Oh, you hear? You hear us? Damn.
Oh,
R.I.P.
now I do.
Oh, there you go. You hear us now? Man. Okay. So it has a slight delay. But I just think that anything that's going to be taught in school, anything that's going to be placed by the government, is going to have too many underlying tones that it's going to screw over everything. Everything that they've tried to do to help blacks has hurt blacks more. Every time. So that's always been the narrative. So as bad as the education is, why are we going to add one more thing that's going to disenfranchise blacks yet again in the educational system? Like, Americans have one of the worst education systems already.
So then just let the kids work with a whitewash.
Who said it would do that though? Who said it was going to do that?
What? Implement critical race theory inside of schools?
This delay is horrible.
Is there really a delay? Is everyone being delayed? Chris, you're delayed?
I don't think so.
Oh, so is this the two of you
Yes.
guys?
No. You said that it was gonna be like a detriment. Like, who said that it would be a detriment?
I think everything else that's possibly going to come with it will be a detriment. I don't think it's just going to be critical race theory being taught in the schools. It's just going to be passed. I think it's going to have underlying things that will be a detriment to black kids. I don't just think they'll just pass that, because it's never been just pass one thing to help out black kids. It's always been, okay, yeah, it looks like it's going to help, but it's always just hurt. It's hurt more than it's ever helped. So why would this be any different?
And so you don't think that they should continue to teach different mindsets?
I don't think that the same people that have placed systems to keep us oppressed are going to try to now suddenly teach us things to help us out with a mindset. Are you saying a different theory, a different way of thinking? Is that what you're asking? I'm not sure. Is it delayed again?
So then we should just not try to go that route at all. Then we should just ignore that.
I think more parents need to step up. That's what I would say.
You mean more parent?
But that's not going to happen. Like, that's a fantasy.
Then rely on the government.
You keep on acting like it's just one thing, though. It's more than one way. You have to attack things from every direction because it's coming from every direction. If two people are hitting you and you block one sock, what about the other one? Like, you still gonna get socked.
So, listen.
Mm-hmm.
If you had a board of black scholars put this together, before they even introduced it, I would go and write an amicus brief to the Supreme Court. And I don't know if you would have to write, probably you have to write a writ of certiorari to be heard, and then write an amicus brief and outline, let them see this particular curriculum and rule on it ahead of time that it would be unconstitutional for it not to be implemented in the schools. And that way the narrative would be dictated by black scholars. And all that extra shit that people would try in, you have to remove the political part and go straight to the legal part. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And you would have to have.
I put up there, it did say that it was put together by black scholars.
Well, yeah, but I mean the curriculum itself, like the curriculum for kids would need to be, because if you left it up to, if you just present, let's say somebody had a meeting with the president and he was going to sign an executive order saying that critical race is an important part of black heritage and blah blah blah, whatever he would say, then you're gonna have the homosexuals and all these other. Well, the critical race theory talks, so that is a foundational principle for the critical theory itself, and we just want to include critical queer, critical this, critical homosexuality, critical lesbianism. We want to, and now unless you include that, then we as a marginalized group already would feel highly offended, and this would not be fair. And you are furthermore propagating and perpetuating this vicious cycle of discrimination and punching down on our people. And I digress. And next thing you know, well, you're right, I don't want that. And they do, a lot of blacks don't even vote. And I probably won't, if I want to stand a chance of getting in office, I bet, you know what? If you rewrite subsection A, part B, title 3, 4, then, and then to include this, then we can pass it. Unless, if not, I'm going to have to veto it. What? That's exactly what you're talking about. So, yeah, it would have to be something like what I'm talking about to even get it passed. Because that's what I think more what Clement's talking about. The government is only going to look at something from a political view only, because that's how I get paid. That's how I feed my family. I want my office seat, and I'm looking at statistics. And if this group over here is giving me all these extra damn votes, they gonna get whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Don't take rocket science to know ain't no goddamn boy got no business racing against no fucking girl. But political motivation will get that to fucking happen.
Go ahead, Danielle. Well said.
So when I had shared that article, I did see all that queer and lesbian stuff. And honestly, I thought it was a plus. I didn't look at it as a negative. Because they should get passed.
Nah, that's a negative.
But if I gotta teach my kids and further perpetuate this shit, I'll pass on it. I'll go back to Ebony and Clement. I'll teach the motherfucking shit at home.
And no, but the reason it's not a negative is because when you actually thinking about what CRT is talking about, it's not saying be black or be gay or be this. It's talking about the inequities that these people face because of that thing.
Well, I mean, those people that face that inequity because of their decisions, we didn't have a choice on being black. They had a choice not to wear a dress.
And I can't deny that they marginalized and that they discriminated against. People don't want to have them live with them or don't want this or don't want that. And whether I agree or not, they are discriminated against just like us.
They are.
So if that's going to help it get passed, I wouldn't say at it.
But then you're gonna really ramp up that goddamn lower level education on them damn pronouns and all that other shit, boy. You're gonna have little boys talking about some, I'm a real girl. Woo! I can pee in the girls' bathroom. Woo! Then you have them slick niggas game the system. Hey man, I'm about to go check out, see what panties she got on. You can't go in the girl bathroom. Nigga,
and at that point, I would say that that's where Clement is correct, and it comes to what you teach in your home. Like I said, I'm already teaching my babies what is a boy and what is a girl, and if it
at that
change.
point it's too late, though. That's the whole thing. At that point, it's something like that has passed, and the ramifications are already happening. We can't all of a sudden just step it back.
Let me tell you something.
It's not, because before your kid went to school, you should have been teaching them this thing. I've been teaching my kid what is what before they go. Why are you not parenting before your kid leave your home?
And I totally agree with what Danielle is saying. And I'm talking about you need to be doing it. You need to be doing it. Because here's the thing, parents on the panel. During the child's development, there comes a time where you are not the most influential person in their life.
As soon as my baby
at
talks.
all. And that's about the age that they are allowed to learn about all these pronouns, which was around 12 and 13 years old. You stop being the most significant figure. You might think you are, but I promise you, Johnny, Susie, Tommy, and all them other niggas has got a way bigger hold on your child than you do. Way bigger. way bigger, and it just gets worse as they get older. They are influenced more by their peers when they're between the ages of 13 on up than you. Because once they're 19, they don't listen to nothing you say. You either did a really good job when they were 1 through 8, 1 through 10, 1 through 11, or you didn't. And if you didn't, for whatever reason, and you never gave your child something to believe in, they're going to fall for everything. If you didn't establish their morals, if you didn't establish their code to where no matter what is being taught, I know mine, no. I don't give a damn if he took a class on whatever, he won't pay attention to none of it. And he'll argue on all of it and will make great talking points because I've given him the ability to make those talking points. And he will consistently say, prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it. I don't care what he feels, prove it. Let's draw his blood and let's see. Because if he don't have a uterus and ovaries, he's a boy. I don't even care if he ain't got a penis. He's a boy. He's just a boy without a penis.
And that brings rise another issue, because if your son does that, he's going to fall into the other issues that schools are facing, where young boys are not passing because they're too disagreeable. And so it takes us right back to them they're going to start hating school. They're going to get failed. He's not going to go into a good school because the teacher kept failing him, and teacher after teacher is going to hold him back. Like, it's just, there's so many different things I just don't think relate to CRT at all. The school system's just going downhill. And I think we just keep adding things to further make it fail.
Yeah, it's headed for a lot of parents are starting to push back against this, and I'm happy to see it. But a lot of parents, I know Florida pushed back hard, Texas pushed back real hard, like to the point to where they got a whole teaching staff removed from a school and everybody removed off the board.
Good. And parents, you know what?
Parents have power if they stick together.
CJ, what's going on, man? Yeah, there's power in numbers. For some reason, we don't realize that. CJ, what's going on, my man?
What's the deal?
What up, CJ?
What's cracking, everybody? I'm enjoying the discussion, and my thoughts on critical race theory. I think it's nothing more than a smokescreen for a liberal agenda, to be honest.
Exactly. Thank you.
I mean, nothing more, nothing less. And when it comes to teaching Black children about race and the history of race, I'm not going to rely on the dominant society's educational system to teach them about a people that built this nation, this very nation, because 9 times out of 10 is going to be lies to begin with. So I don't take it serious. I just think it's just another liberal talking point. And again, if I had children, my children would not be, they would be homeschooled, to keep it a buck. But I don't care if white kids know about racism or not. That doesn't concern me. So it is what it is. But that's my thoughts on critical race theory.
I agree.
He made both him and Chris. Y'all are making some very valid points. Now, the only with everything that's been said when it comes to the government, I'm not saying that we shouldn't try it, but if we can circumvent the governments to a point to where the curriculum is clearly defined without the liberal agenda, right? Then it's a good thing. But if that cannot happen, then I'm going to have to withdraw my initial statement saying that I think it's a good thing to be taught, because I didn't even think about it from that perspective. Because when you start pushing another liberal agenda, I'm out on that. I'm completely out on that shit right there. But if there was a way for you to, if it could stay liberal free and speak on only the most important tenets, to teach that system, to teach you how to circumvent the system and move in a manner in which you should move, in a way that you will understand the importance of a husband, a black husband and wife staying together, and the importance of the nucleus of a family, and the importance of you being able to perform higher than your peers, because that's what was taught to that's what was taught to me.
But it won't.
My
It
grandmother
won't
taught
happen.
me that you can't be like everybody else, nigga. You got to be better. You can't move like everybody else.
You know the real reason why critical race theory will never pass, though, real critical, the way you saying it without a liberal agenda, because it'll crush the egos of white children. Because listen, even with the truth, because even all your life you've been told that Madam C.J. Walker was the first black female millionaire. That's a lie. That's not true.
Yeah, that is.
She's not the first black female millionaire.
No,
the first black female millionaire was a woman named Hannah Elias. She was like the Kim Kardashian of her day. And she went and made $1 million from all these white tricks. She was called an enchantress. She made $1 million from all these white tricks up in New York, and they tried to sue her. She was the first black millionaire. And see, that's a problem. So can you imagine if they went around telling people that, well, you know what? This woman came up off tricking off on white men tricking off on her. That disrupts the system. So again, them having critical race theory, they're not going to do it. And if they did, it's going to be some watered down stuff that still make white people feel good about themselves at the end of the day.
And you know that's going to be the thing, because just in case it passes, or just in case it was allowed to be taught, right? Listen at some of the narrative without any motherfucking body saying anything. Like the people who you heard speak on that video, they can't tell you 2 fucking tenets in the critical race theory, not 2. They could not, right? But even that the first narrative is, well, this is child abuse. This will make white children feel ashamed and depressed. And then next you got to throw in suicide. Ever since the teaching of critical race theory, which was passed back in 2025, the increase of suicide rates among teens has increased disproportionately to other races in the white community. Like, y'all niggas always been killing yourself. So it should be abolished immediately. Even if it did pass, it would get clicked out or watered down, just like CJ said. They still teaching that Christopher Columbus is the one who discovered America. And that motherfucker never set foot in North America. Not one time, period. Then they try to say he fucking proved that the world was not flat. A goddamn lie. Plato and Pythagoras proved that the goddamn world wasn't flat. Through math.
Yeah. I think we're all coming to a certain point here. I'd love to say I like it. Sounds like, John, you're coming around as well.
Yeah, you got me.
There you go. Okay.
If it can't be the way I was telling you,
liberalized
scholars, and it has to be liberalized. And I was coming around. CJ drove the fucking point on home. But when I made the statement that we've always been connected to them folks,
it clicked.
That's kind of, it was already clicking. And then CJ just drove the motherfucking point on home. I was like, yep. That's what I was thinking too.
It fell off.
Well, then that's when I said, well, it needs to be done just like this, only like this. But then we know
politicians. Happen. Yeah.
Right.
But here's why I think it may pass though, because if you can introduce critical race theory, you're going to get their version of what critical race theory is, which can introduce all types of other agendas like LGBTQ plus history, and then you're going to get midget history, and then you're going to get all kind of other crazy histories and all kind of race theories and all kind of critical theories about everything else. So if it does pass, I think that'll be the reason why, so they can usher in other agendas. Now, I don't care what they teach in their system. That's cool. If you want to talk about midgets and cats and dogs or whatever you want to do, then be my guest. But if it does pass, I think that'll be the only reason that it does, to bring in a different agenda. So
yeah, I think I'm gonna homeschool my baby.
Yeah, that's.
I think I'm gonna homeschool. We're gonna have a real serious. Me and Chase gonna table this, and I'm gonna get some information from his school probably next week when I have some downtime about homeschooling and just go on and do it while everything is lined up.
I'm calling this right now. If there are teachers out there, this is going to be a good way to make money. If you get us rent out a space and just saying like people that are homeschooling their kids and their kids need to learn math, I will be teaching it, and these are my times.
I know two teachers who will be going into business to do that. So if you want that, let me know and I'll hook you up, especially if you're in SoCal.
There you go.
I already know.
There you go. It's listen, these are businesses because everyone's starting to realize that the school system is far too liberalized. It's far too they're pushing boys into women's spaces. Like the simple fact that that's happening is insane.
Yeah,
and you have teachers literally telling children that I'm neither a boy or girl. Children 5 years old, their brains are not fully developed at that age. That is confusion. Whatever your pronoun or what you choose to be defined is or as, that's fine. But when you start to teach children that who can't make a rational and logical decision for themselves yet because their brains have not fully developed, that is pushing an agenda. That is pushing your will onto somebody else. That is manipulation. That is abuse. That's not right. You need to give people a chance to grow and the freedom to choose whatever they want to be. I don't care what you identify as. That's your prerogative as an adult. But as a child, I need my child to know that, okay, well, this is what the female sex does. This is what the male sex does. This is how we go to the bathroom. This is how they go to the bathroom. Now, when my child turns 18, if he chooses to get a wig and some fake titties and whatever he want to do, that's his business. But until then, no, absolutely not.
Facts.
The progression of this was just insane. Like, I can relate anything back to the feminist movement, very similar to how Dr. John can relate anything back to LGBTQ and those issues. But it's like, first it was, okay, go to work, right? Leave your kids will be fine, send them to daycare. Okay, and then they'll go to school, which is just like daycare part 2. And basically what we've seen is like this constant manipulation of the school system, since parents aren't home with their kids and teaching them themselves, basically raising these kids who will eventually vote, right? Who will eventually have a say. They're teaching them what to think, which is later teaching them how to vote. And I honestly think this wave is leading us to, like, I think they're trying to abolish the Constitution. I think they're raising a new race, like a new generation, to be like anarchists and to hate this country so much, hate all the laws, and try to abolish the Constitution. Like, they want to get rid of guns rights. They're like, there's so many different things that they're talking about, and that's what
Don't worry, China will come and end all that real quick for us, so it's okay. China will come and take over and all of quick.
They're tracking us through TikTok right now. They have a countdown. Like, America has 30 years left, and then we're swooping.
Let's send them some puppy videos, and let's send them some to keep them preoccupied. They're too dumb to do.
Oh, they're getting happy? Go make them depressed. Make them depressed.
Yeah.
Turn off the lights. Turn off the lights.
Everyone's way too happy. Send a Trump video. That'll rile everyone up.
You know, it's crazy because TikTok is actually a Chinese app.
Yeah.
Trump tried to ban it, and they were like, "No, you can't do that to us." And he was like,
Trump, that would have been a great idea. That would have been a great idea. And it's been banned in several countries. Because, you know why? Because unlike our weak-ass psychologists in this country, they actually fucking understand psychology. And they know that making 1 minute fucking videos and allowing kids to sit on that motherfucker reduces your fucking attention span. Exponentially. To where you have the attention span essentially of a fucking gopher rat.
Or a goldfish.
Or a goldfish. Like, you can't pay attention to shit.
Yep.
So that's crazy, bro. That's.
But let's end it off on one last reaction video. Okay.
Really,
So,
you really think you're gonna let us get out of here on you gonna play a reaction video and think we leaving? Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be
your reaction video. All right, bet.
It's gonna be a peaceful one. It's peaceful. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's go.
Oh, boy. I like that.
There we go. I guess that's what critical race theory summed up to, guys. All right. It's everywhere. Do you guys think things like that are good for trying to explain or get rid of race theory, making light of it and those things like that? Or not really?
Actually, it's a way to
I mean, that's what we do. Oh.
Go ahead, Yannick. You ain't saying much of nothing. Go ahead. I've been talking this whole time. Go on. You go.
No, he was talking about making light of it. I was like, that's what we do. You know what I mean? That's what the best comedians do. Make light of the serious situation. I mean,
a bad situation.
That's normal to me. That ain't nothing. That's not natural to me.
And so, sometimes when you use a comedic undertone, it softens the delivery so that it can actually be heard. But then the concepts are actually true, and you know they're true. Just like the comic JP, he makes fun of all how teachers are teaching the children about pronouns, and he has 3 different characters, which they are him. And he has this teacher with lipstick all over her face. He said, "Hello, today I'm going to introduce you and tell you a little bit about me. My pronouns are her, him, and victim." Wait.
Her, him, and victim.
And I'm going to unwind everything your parents ever taught you. I mean, he just goes fucking in. But he does it in a joking manner. His videos get like 3 or 4 million views and a bunch of likes, and the community can't say shit because this is what's happening. And then sometimes when you look back at it, it's like, this shit is really that fucking retarded.
Yeah.
And I can't believe that y'all are allowing this shit to happen. You really allowing this to happen? Like, you know, it's sad I have to get a fucking report every day from my son. Hey, what y'all teach about? What y'all talking about in science today? What are y'all doing? What are they teaching you? Every day. A day does not go by, he has the report. Because the minute they teach any weird shit to him, you got to go. Come on, let's go.
And I think that's what you're doing is the most important thing that parents need to do. Danielle, you don't seem too amused. How you doing over there, Danielle? How you doing?
I think it's delayed.
I'm not. I'm okay.
Oh, it is delayed. It's super delayed. Wow. Yeah, it's delayed. Okay.
I'm not saying nothing.
Yeah, I can say that.
I got one last video I want to end it off on. I promise.
All right.
I promise is the last one. I promise is the last one.
All right.
Okay. This, like you were saying, John, there's a severity to all of this, and this might be where it leads to. Okay.
Oh shit.
Fair use.
Yep. This is my proudest moment. I've been dreaming of becoming the top female swimmer for 1 year, but getting here wasn't easy. I first learned how to swim when I was 7 years old at Boy Scout camp. What might surprise you is I was actually a really slow swimmer at first and stayed a really slow swimmer through the first couple years of my collegiate career. Then I turned 23 and all of a sudden I'm the best swimmer in the women's division. And I can't track exactly what changed. I guess I'm just a late bloomer. Because swimming's been such a big part of my life for so long, it's where my happiness comes from. You can't have happiness without penis. I've never noticed that before. With being the best at something, you always get haters. Like, I don't understand what this controversy is all about. I guess people just don't like it when they see a woman succeeding. I compete in 3 different strokes: freestyle, the butterfly, and the backstroke. You got to be in the pool for hours each day. It's the only way to become the best. I guess I must have drank a lot of water on that lap. Yeah, it's not all easy. Some of the other ladies don't feel comfortable being in the same locker room as me. I'm appalled. I just don't understand why. Like, is this because I identify as black? These racist women around here. Or maybe they're just intimidated by my sensual femininity. I mean, you know how girls can be. Jealous. Swimming brings out the divine goddess in me. Hey! Get out of the pool! That's for ladies only! Some of my competitors are angry that I tested positive for having XY chromosomes, and I don't know how they got there. Might have had like a tainted supplement or something. But really, I think my competitors are just sore losers. Like, hey ladies, I beat you by 11 minutes fair and square, so get over it. To me, swimming is really an art form. An art form that requires a lot of upper body strength. Like, the more of it you have, the more of an advantage you have. Women can most certainly get other women pregnant. I've done it.
What do you have to say about your teammates wanting you off the team?
Yeah, my sore loser teammates, maybe they should get in the pool and train more. The reason why I win all the time is because I'm more dedicated to my training.
We talked to your coach, and he said that your teammates spend the exact same amount of time training in the pool as you.
Well, I work out with weights too. Maybe they should try it. It really helps.
Your coach says they're on the exact same weightlifting routine as you, but he said you bench press 4.5 times more weight than the second strongest athlete. Do you have any idea why that is?
Well, I just don't identify the weights as very heavy. It's pretty simple. It feels so good to come away with a championship. And I want to congratulate second place for being within 9 minutes of me. And I want to thank my sponsors for always having my back. Manscaping, Dollar Beard Club, and Alpha Jock Straps. Now that I'm the top female swimmer, what's next for me? Well, I don't feel like I'm 22 anymore. So I think children's sports is next. Probably Pee-wee football. I'm actually 10 years old now. Even more than my swimming success, what I'm most proud of is what I'm doing for women's rights. It's kind of like if you've ever seen an injured deer on the side of the road that's just been hit by a car and your heart just wants to help this wounded animal. Well, I'm the one that hit the deer.
That's what I'm talking about right there. He makes fun of that stupidity. And when you sit back and look at it, it's like, this is really some stupid shit. How did the government allow this? Like this, our government is really stupid. Like no one in that bitch has common sense, or you just don't give a fuck.
It's just not, it doesn't make sense.
You allow this, you allow a motherfucker to erase women's history.
Mm-hmm.
You
What women are
allowing men to erase women's fucking history, and not one feminist motherfucker is
But
saying,
I don't. It's not men. It's women. It's women championing this, though. It's predominantly women championing this.
Yeah, I know. And you're on, and you should be on a fucking soapbox so high that the president would be fucking scared to sign another fucking bill, and he might even undo that one. But nope, you cool with the motherfucking records being erased? That's fine. Cause see, here's some facts for you: the dudes who are breaking y'all shit are the worst against any man. Like the fucking worst. The swimmer that he's making fun of was ranked 456. It was high school swimmers that could outswim that motherfucker. But he was the #1 woman swimmer in the world. The #1 woman swimmer. You got fat kids, a dude who had a fucking belly slipped, 245 pounds. He slipped, came out late, and hawked the damn state champion girl down and beat that motherfucker by this goddamn much. And he slipped and came out late and hawked that motherfucker down with his little pot belly and blew her damn doors off. And she was the girl champion. Guess what? She didn't get a scholarship because they don't know. All they know is your name, sex, school. That's it.
Yep.
That's it. That's all they know. They don't necessarily come out and see you run. They just go by your time.
And that's the scary part. Women are gonna. There's gonna be a lot of girls, and women are gonna miss out on a lot of opportunities.
So that means there's no girls. There's girls that are not going to qualify for the Olympics. There's girls that are not going to go to college, and they've been banking on this shit. They've been racing and running their whole life. But there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong that you ruin a whole fucking person's life. Talking about, well, if it doesn't happen, they become suicidal. Them bitches was suicidal before, and they're going to be suicidal during, and they're always suicidal after. Because the shit that's got them fucked up in the head is the reason they're fucking suicidal. Has nothing to do with if you let them fucking wear a wig or not. Nothing. Keep their uncles and strange ass men away from them, and you might want to start there.
And that's how we're going to end it, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Real quick. Close out on the panel. Chris, any last words on our topic or what we spoke about today? Critical race theory, CRT.
I just think if we want results, we have to be the ones steering. Like you can't let someone else fly your plane and then get mad at where they landed. Learn how to fly your own plane. Learn how to run your own life. Stop outsourcing everything to everyone else, and then complaining about the outcome. You didn't do the work yourself. You trusted this person to do it for you. You can't complain about the outcome. I think it's important that we just go back to more traditional ways. I think that we're starting to see a lot of the issues, but we've been taught that we can't do anything about it, or there is a solution, but we have no part in it. We have to let someone else fix it. And I just think that's a bad way to think about it. I think that's very dangerous, a very dangerous way to think about it. So yeah, just try to keep as much as you can when it comes to your children and their success. Just try to keep it within your home, within your culture as much as possible. Certain things shouldn't be outsourced. You will gain a lot more by just being with your kids yourself.
Fair point. Unique, last words?
Oh, I'm not even on mute. Okay. Well, critical race theory. All true should be learned, but do we trust the government to teach it? No, I do not. So I think it should be taught, but it should be led by us, like everyone else has been saying. But I feel like that it should just be something that should be explored in the sense of everybody should be on board as far as trying to get it together so it can be taught properly. Instead of everybody fighting against each other about why it should or maybe it shouldn't. We should just get together and just do it. Build the curriculum and do it. That's it.
Okay. Danielle, if you have a quick minute, if you want to say your last words. You got to go.
I don't really have
Final
any last words.
Closing statements. CRT, anything? No? Okay, John. Closing statements, closing comments.
So CRT is something that initially in the show, I was all for being taught in schools, but during the show, I come to the I had an epiphany with a lot of help from my colleagues on this show who made some very impressive arguments that it's either going to be watered down or altered to push an additional agenda that doesn't need pushing. It actually needs abolishing, but that's neither here nor there. So I challenge the Black fathers and Black mothers of those that had the baby with those fathers. If you're keeping them away from their kids, stop. And if you're really honestly true and you do have access to your child and you really want access to your child, fight for them. And you start teaching your children, you learn the theory yourself, and then you teach the theory and teach the systemic racism, teach them about it, and teach them how to move around it. If you don't know, then reach out to other Blacks who understand how to move, that have been successful. And you know, the ones y'all tend to call Uncle Toms because they know how to move around. But I'm just saying, maybe you should learn it a little bit, because if you keep bumping your fucking head on the wall, you're gonna keep getting a knot. So maybe you should stop and do something different and stop being insane about all this, so you get a different result. That's what I have to say about that.
All right. Today was very educational for myself as well. We've had quite a couple back and forths, and I want to say, you know, my mind was almost swayed at one point, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it really was. But realistically, you know, CRT being taught by parents makes more sense, and keeping it in the homes makes more sense. Outsourcing education to everyone else that doesn't have your vested interest at heart, it's just a hard thing to see how that final product is going to turn out when, again, they don't have your best interest at heart. That's my biggest takeaway from all of this. And let's just close out our usual way. We got John, the doctor.
Hey, what's up, everybody? You can always find me here every Tuesday. I have been, working on my research, but once I'm finished, I am going to publish a book. The title of the book is going to be The $1 Million Baby. It's going to talk about the price of how your child, if they go down a certain path, is worth millions to psychiatrists, psychologists, the surgeon who's going to perform the procedure, and hence the title $1 Million Babies. I'm going to talk about all the negativity that surrounds what's being taught to your child in school now. So you may want to pull your children from school and start homeschooling them. And if that's not possible, you may want to look into some online schools and makes those adjustments, because the detriment that it's doing to your child, if you live in one of those states, there's something you can do about it, but you got to speak up against it. You can always find me here every Tuesday, and peace and love.
That's good message. Chris.
Hey everyone, I hope that you enjoyed the show. My name is Chris, the Blooming Ebony. I have a channel also on Instagram. You can find me at the Blooming Ebony. I guess my main journey is one of a woman that doesn't feel fulfilled through the basic feminist ideologies of excelling in your career and waiting to have children, all of that. I think that there's a lot of power in being a mother and a wife, a homemaker, and all of those beautiful things, and also just having self-control. So if you're interested in those, if you also don't feel like you fit in that culture, follow me on Instagram. I would love to have you, and I will see you here next week. Have a good night.
Yeah, unique.
I'm sorry, I was on mute.
No worries.
I'm sorry, I'm just everywhere today.
No worries.
Check out Instagram, and it's Married Ladies Opinions on Instagram. Thursday. Don't know what I'm talking about yet, but it's going to be something about relationships. Come check me out. I won't have the special guests as I normally do, but anybody can just come on and talk. Thank you, Clement. Yeah. Clement said he's gonna be there, so if anybody could join in Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern time, talking about relationships on Instagram. Thank you, and subscribe to CKQ. Peace.
Last but not least, we got Danielle. Danielle's muted.
So you can find me on Instagram at Fly Nurse Mom Wife, and here on YouTube. Sorry about the delay. My bad.
No worries. Yeah, it was weird. Oh, it's gone now. So, ladies and gentlemen, has been a fantastic night of great conversation, great information, great viewpoints were discussed here. But until next time, we will see you next week. Good night.
If we're doing everything right, I think we should be vetting our wives, like go to their parents, go to their fathers.
They know they shouldn't have let me start speaking my mind in the booth. Start speaking the truth. Might get shot.
I think you're just saying, okay, actions have consequences, and I'm not going to support this person's actions. Like, you don't have to cancel them and say, like, I hate you.
Innocent lives have to die.
I. But the whole thing is me and her. I also. That man was on the other side doing the exact same thing, and his decision with his eyes was to walk away.
Inside your soul.
Now we can paint the perfect picture without belittling each other. Because under God's system,
we are equipped to handle that responsibility. But not every man is fit to handle that responsibility.
I've done seen Flint, Michigan,
and it's just being
cities. They pissing in project buildings that got a roof that leaks, resulting in missing ceilings. Hard to sleep. Children going to schools dealing issues deep.
So I think society does make it more difficult for short men, but I don't think that it's impossible that they could find someone.
And instructing you to do your part. It ain't hard to see they trying to keep black in the back, just like Rosa Parks. Cops shooting blacks as if they get a token from God. School rob you with needed resources.
Is the weaker vessel and the more vulnerable.
Absolutely, 100%.
You don't look at the man like, oh, poor son, you were violated. No, you like, bruh.
And nobody.
They shift my stick like some cars. And when you're lonely in your darkest thoughts, come, I know it's hard, but God shines his light on all that play their part. And it's the start.
Put myself in a situation where I can only rely on a man. Like if I'm married and being a stay-at-home mom, I need to have a backup in case anything happens. I can't only rely on him. You know what I'm saying?
A flower will grow once you plant the seed inside your soul.
Poet, and the best part of me shows it. Here to speak the message, what is known, but not what it takes. Expose it, listen closer as I take you on a mental path. See divisions, the math, hoping we clash on lower levels, just like in the past. Before we begin to see spared lives, keep in mind the first 3 letters of unity starts with you and I. And maybe then we can all thrive, changing the narratives of our lives, finding belief from inside. We gotta come together, different feathers, and we fly together, despite any weather, evolving up forward, just like propellers, using negatives to fuel positives. How we change the mark, just like taking the devil's flames, just to warm the coldest heart.